All right, guys. So we are going to get into our next segment where we are going to have to leave out Travis, unfortunately.
That's
Um,
fine.
so yeah,
And with
Travis.
that, I'm going to leave you guys be. Just call me when you're done.
Okie dokie. And this is where we're going to bring in my good friend, David Besbietka, where he just seen the movie The Fate of the Furious with me earlier today. So he's going to be joining us for this review. So, David, how are you doing today?
Um, Today was a good day.
Yes, it was. So yeah, let's jump
Hi,
right into
David.
this.
It's good. It's good to hear you.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Yeah, so dude, this movie was insane. Zach, let me hear your I know me and you talked about it earlier today a little bit, but how did you feel going into this movie and what you got when you walked out of the theater?
Well, going into the movie, I was definitely more excited than probably most people were going into this movie.
Yeah.
Just because, like, listen, when the first trailer came out, I gave this movie some shit because I'm like, oh, it looks.
Oh,
really
we all
stupid.
did. Yeah.
Story looks really stupid. Blah 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 blah. Which I mean, you can't really gripe on Fast and Furious for the story. You can't really expect too much from that going in.
Yeah.
But regardless of the fact, when I went in, my hopes were high, and I was expecting a really fun movie, and I was not disappointed. I had a lot of fun with this movie.
Oh yeah, definitely. David, I saw with you earlier today. I talk a lot on this show, but let's get a fresh perspective from you. You are a very big car guy. You worked on my cars many times. This is right up your lane.
I literally just got done from my friend's house, rebuilt his motor, and got it running today. And
Yeah.
today was a good day.
Yeah. So, as a big car lover and just a big car fan in this world, how did you feel about The Fate of the Furious?
Enjoyable on like the action front and the story. You know, there's the new character. I don't know what her name was. I kind of forget. but-
Charlie Theron's character. It was Cypher. I believe.
Cypher. Interesting. Kind of threw me off at first. I'm trying to figure out, I was like, where does she come into play? I've never seen this chick before. In any
Yeah,
of the
because she
movies.
claims to have known Dom for like a while.
So like it completely threw me off. But the way how they twisted the story around kind of all the way through, it was actually really enjoyable.
Yeah, like
But
they
when it
pretty
comes
much
to
made
the
her the
cars,
focal villain.
when it
Pretty
com-
much like 6 and 7, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to the cars, I mean, they're known for doing this, but like the things that they do, it's like it doesn't make sense in the real world.
Yeah.
Like right in the beginning, that little vacuum line he pulled off, he was like, "This is a poor man's turbo." But if you look later on to the movie,
In the race.
in the actual race, there's already a turbo on there. It's like, how do you do this? All you're doing is introducing a vacuum leak, leaning out the motor, and blowing it. I mean, he blew it anyway, so whatever.
Yeah, so
Which right from the get go in that scene, I realized how ridiculous this movie was gonna be, and I was completely on board. Like as soon as he flipped that car around, I'm like,
Oh my
so
God.
that's the type of ride I'm in for. Nice, and I just loved it. I loved it. It was so over the top, so impractical, so impossible, but just so much fun the entire time.
Yeah, when he turned the car around and he just went in reverse, catching up with the guy, I'm like, okay, this is some bullshit.
It's entirely possible if there's no limiter and you just keep tacking that motor out. I mean, if it's a
Yeah.
longer gear, you know, first gear will eventually get to 135, but you'll be tacking your motor out around 27 grand.
But that thing was on fire, so that means, you know.
At that point, I think he just stopped giving a fuck.
Yeah, I actually saw it with my buddy John, and that was like after we saw the movie, that was the first thing we were talking about was how ridiculous that opening race was, and we were like, I would love to be in the board meeting of like who came up with that scene, just like, all right guys, it's Fast and Furious. You know we need a race scene. Let's put it right at the beginning. How can we make it different? They're like, all right, well, here's an idea. What if we had this guy have this really nice car? Like, let's say in like Cuba or something. Like, all right, and Dom has to race it with just like a junker. They're like, oh, I get it. That's cool. And he's like, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna have him have to spin the car around and reverse it in the race to the finish line. Like, but why would he have to spin it around? They're gonna be like, because the front of it is gonna be on fire. And you know that immediately the reaction was just, yes, that is exactly what we are doing. We are starting filming next week.
You know, I think, you know, the opening scene though, I think it really definitely set the tone for what we were getting ourselves into.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, so it definitely, you know, me and Dave were watching. I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. I'm like, yeah, I was like, okay, so this is what we're in for. So it was definitely, and I think me and you definitely talked about this is definitely the most darkest one.
Storyline wise, it's definitely the darkest, but humor wise, it's the funniest too.
Oh, it really is.
So it's really cool how they found that balance between the two, and
Yeah.
I was I was thoroughly entertained throughout every second of this movie.
And I have to say, you know, me and David can both agree, even you, Zach, that the chemistry between Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Jason Statham was just perfect in this movie.
Yeah, it stole the
on-
entire movie,
it was
is
on
what
point.
it did.
Yeah, and just the lines, like, this was definitely The Rock just, you know, going off of the dome with stupid things to say. You know, was just saying, like, especially that one line, is like, I'm gonna punch you in your teeth, you're gonna have to shove a toothbrush up your ass just to brush them, or some shit like that.
And knock your teeth so far down your ass, you have to stick a toothbrush up there to brush them.
Yeah, it was funny, and I honestly believe when Jason Statham laughed after that had to have been genuine.
Yeah, it probably was.
Yeah.
Jason Statham was hilarious in this entire movie, though. Like, even at the end when he's on the plane and he's
Oh,
holding
yeah.
the baby, like, the best is, like, do you just try to shoot a baby? Like you are twisted. Then you see the best is the baby's face, because you see like this horrified look on the baby's face. In the background, you just see the blurred image of Jason Statham just smashing this guy's head against like the bench over and over again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
My entire thought of that entire scene is like, see Jason Statham going through, is like, he really is the transporter.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Sure.
I know I told you, Pedro, the one thing that I wish they did in that scene differently is they had the baby listen to that Alvin and the Chipmunks song.
Yeah.
I wish they were playing that like cinematically in the movie over the scene.
Yeah.
After you heard him, because that would have been so fucking funny.
Yeah, I don't know.
Either way, the scene was hilarious.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it was also cool that they brought Luke Evans back for that one scene as well. You
Yeah,
know?
I did not see that coming.
Yeah,
As soon as
neither
he
did
took
I.
off the mask, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. It was really awesome. And
You have to take your brother. It's like,
yeah, it's like, God damn it. It's like
it's
that.
like I have a perfect team. No.
You're making your brother all upset. You always do this.
it's
Fine,
like-
okay.
I didn't even know Helen Mirren was going to be in this movie.
oh, I knew a
And-
long time ago she was going to be in this movie.
And she popped up, and I'm like, is that Academy Award-winning actress Helen Mirren in a Fast and Furious movie?
Well, it's actually funny that you bring that up because she was campaigning to be in this franchise.
I
Like,
mean, she probably wanted, like actors and actors, they have to have fun too.
yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people that were just like, oh my God.
Yeah. But it's
Travis just sent me a message that said nobody cared who I was until I took off the mask.
oh my God. Oh Jesus! But honestly, because I'm glad that they brought in Luke Evans for that scene, because if he did take off the mask and it was his mother, I would have called bullshit on that. I was like,
That's
ain't
what
no-
I was expecting. Which it would have had some really funny banter
Yeah,
between the two of them.
but that would have just been like, okay, no old lady is gonna be flying through the sky
Yeah,
and doing
but-
all that shit.
I
Like,
mean, this movie's all about inconsistencies with real life things, so it wouldn't throw me off too much.
would that have been the most ridiculous thing we've seen from this franchise?
yeah, that's very true. You know, the last one you had cars jumping from building to building.
Yeah. And can we
Flying
just talk
airplanes.
about how did this plane never have to like land for gas? Like, was that just because
Nah,
they're like,
bro.
yeah, because what we're doing is they're flying between these dark zones, and if you know people that are very close, you can fly a plane through these zones without ever having to land or anything. It's like, well, like, where's the gas come from?
Well, they do
Like,
in real life. They do have planes that come by in midair to refuel other planes that are midair. Like that is a thing. But I don't know if like what they were doing, like that would have been possible.
Hey,
You know.
man, you gotta be good with the sun. It's all solar powered, bro.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so.
Tesla made it, man.
But other than that, it was also. Oh yeah, let me also bring this up. Before, because I wasn't able to see this movie midnight release or opening night or Saturday night for that fact. I had to watch it Monday during the day to see it, because I just didn't have chances to go see it at the time that I wanted to. And I was scrolling through social media, right? And the one thing that I hate the most when it comes to films and TV shows or anything in the entertainment world is spoilers. So when I got into social media and I was scrolling through Facebook, I had this one friend, which I'm not going to mention by name, but he posted this meme where it was like this stupid thing. It had like chocolate on it, and it said like, and it had on top, it said like, don't you love the fact that remember growing up when your mother would pack these for your lunch for school, and then right underneath it's one of those fake memes where like it like tricks you to read the thing on the bottom, and it's like a spoiler for like either a show or a film. I've seen this before, but thankfully back in the past I've already known about the spoilers. But for this this fact was that it was a potential spoiler for Fast and Furious 8, where it said Dom dies trying to protect his son in Fast and Furious 8. And I had not seen the movie yet. And I was livid, people. Livid when I saw that. Because when I saw the movie, I was like, okay, if there is a son narrative in this film, then I'm going to be pissed. Because that will mean that, you know, that could be a possibility that Dom dies in this movie. And when the son came up, and I saw Yelena, the Yelena character, I'm like...
Then you're thinking, oh, you're like, oh, yep, it's definitely true.
Yeah. I was like, this motherfucker. And when I kept expecting it at the end. I kept expecting him to just die in some certain manner. And the part where I actually thought, okay, this is where it happens, was when the submarine was going to explode. And, you know, from that heat seeker. But thankfully he lived. And, you know, he ended up naming his son Brian, which I called as soon as they even brought up
very
kid.
expected.
Yeah, you know, but which was nice though. You know, a nice tribute to Paul Walker.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I also did like how they handled him not being in it.
Yeah.
Where Roman was like, Brian would know what to do, and Letty was like, no, he promised we wouldn't involve them. I'm like, all right, that's cool. They at least brought it up.
Yeah, because if they had not brought it up, it wouldn't have made sense. Because in this
There's
type
so
of
many
situation,
times in movies when they don't do that type of thing. Like I mentioned it, I think, on the podcast here before, even in Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah.
When like the world's ending and everything, and like, where's Captain America? Like, where's Iron Man?
Where's the rest of the
Like,
Avengers? Like,
yeah, they never mentioned it, but it was cool that they at least mentioned why that character. We know why he's not in there, but the writing they did around it, I thought was well done. It was a nice touch.
Yeah, I liked what they did with that. And to bring up Yelena again, dude, I was not expecting her to get killed off. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to happen right there.
Yeah.
I wasn't, when it happened, I was just sort of like, oh, but I wasn't terribly shocked, just because it did solve the problem of like a love triangle thing going on.
Yeah.
With like the kid and everything. So it just, I don't know. It was an easy way to write around it, I felt.
Yeah, no, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but it's the mere fact that, you know, a lot of franchises don't like killing characters off. That's the thing. So when I saw Elena appear, I was like, oh shit, she's in this movie too. And I thought, like, you know, when they were threatening to kill her, I'm like, they're not gonna kill her off. I was like, there's no way. I was like, she's too much of a nice of a character.
Then boom.
And then boom. I'm like, David was sitting right next to me. He saw my reaction. I was like, my jaw was to the floor. I'm like, no fucking way.
Fucking Tormund Giantsbane over there just shot her clear in the head.
Yeah, which is also funny because, you know, Vin Diesel has a thing with bringing on Game of Thrones characters, actors onto his movies. Because the last one was with Triple X, where he brought on what was it? Not the Mountain, the brother,
the Hound,
yeah. In the
Roy McCann.
Yeah, where he brought him on for Triple X, and then in Fast and Furious 8, they brought in that guy from Game of Thrones, which I thought was funny. But yeah, dude, this, I mean, it was really cool. I mean, I was hoping from, obviously, I don't know. I guess I'm just really hoping to go back to the roots of Fast and Furious with the whole racing thing, but we're never gonna get that back.
No, I'm so happy these movies are as ridiculous as they are.
No, yeah, I understand.
When they were centered on racing, they were just sort of like take it or leave it for me. I was just sort of like, well, okay, you know, they're cool. But then once Fast 5 hit and you got this whole new, like, almost like a rebooted, like root and universe with them.
Yeah.
And just, like, as ridiculous as they are, I've just had so much fun with all these movies post 5. So I'm really happy, and I love going to these movies and just being able to turn off my brain and just seeing, like, a really, really just ridiculous movie, but still done in a good way.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. So yeah, I mean, any last thoughts, Zach, you want to bring up before we get into our ratings?
No, not really. Just you know, everything that I've said really, and just what holds these movies together, honestly, is just the cast. I mean, their chemistry is some of the best in any franchises that are going on right now.
Yeah.
And they really hold all these movies together. And a lot of people have been talking about, oh, maybe they'll like move Hobbs over and do spin-offs with him instead of having him. But I don't think they should, because he's such a big part of these movies, and his chemistry, like we saw in this one with Jason Statham, like he's just such a charismatic dude.
Yeah.
And I love seeing him in these movies with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really happy that he was one of the main characters in this movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Because in Furious 7, we only saw him sort of in like the beginning and then at the end, you know? But it was really cool that he was in this one throughout.
Which is actually really funny because, bringing it up real quick before we get into our ratings, so earlier when they were doing the smack talk between Jason and The Rock, when Jason refers to him as Hercules. Which I thought was really funny.
That was really smart.
Yeah. I thought that was genius. I'm like, wow.
You biscuit and tea crumpets eaten. They were so funny.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait for the next one, honestly. Just to imagine, this movie's at 8 films, dude. 8 movies, man.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
It's still strong, man. This franchise is insane.
And they left it open-ended for more, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So any last thoughts from you, David? How did you feel about the movie? And we'll start with you. Give your final thoughts on the movie and what a rating from 1 out of 10.
I'd probably give it like a solid 7.5. I mean, I was walking in there, expecting it to be worse than what was it, Fury 7?
Fury 7, yeah, the last one, yeah.
I was expecting it to be worse than that, but it surprisingly pulled through and actually kind of gave me a better impression.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the last one I was more of a sad go away. We all expected that one. And this one was more of a refresh, and with the refresh, it brought back a lot of the good things that I like about the older films, not like maybe the early films were my tuner scene.
Yeah.
But the action film behind everything like that, like really bringing back the good shit.
Yeah.
While still being over the top and doing things that are absolutely ridiculous and not making any sense. But that's
the fun of these movies.
That's the fun of the movies.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't really be mad at everything.
Yeah,
But
seriously.
It was an enjoyable movie, and would I watch it again? Yeah, it's got to be added to the supercut.
Oh yeah, which is actually funny because I'll get into my rating next, but I had a really great time with this movie, and I remember David gave me this idea a while, like months ago, where he's like, Pedro.
A year ago.
It was a year ago. Where he's like, Pedro, what you should do? You should take all the Fast and Furious movies 1 through 7 and do like a super cut where you edit like some of the main plot points and a lot of the action scenes into it and make it like one big movie, which I did, which ended up being like 6.5 hours long. So, which is insane.
Fate of the Furious and just like boop.
Yeah, that'll eventually be a part of the super cut. But yeah, so I had a great time with this movie. One out of 10. I'd probably have to give this movie a solid, probably like 8.3 out of 10. It was really good. It definitely stands with the way the franchise is going on with right now. So yeah, I can't wait for Fast and Furious 9. Hopefully they have a better title this time, because even though they said Fate multiple times in this current movie, I just felt like it was still like unnecessary.
I actually forgot about that. I do want to mention that they really did force saying
they
fate
really,
in that conversation. It's like, it's your fate, Dom.
I was like, they were really pushing for that.
I'm like, we get it. The title of the movie is Fate of the Furious.
Yeah, definitely. I was like, come on, like they were trying to justify that title. Like,
yeah, I definitely warmed up to the title when I first heard it. I'm like, Fate of the Furious. That sounds so stupid. Then by the time I'm seeing the movie, Fate of the Furious. Like, I definitely
you said
warmed
it
up
so
to
many
it.
times already. It's like,
yeah.
But yeah.
Watch the next one be like Fast 9. There's me 9 people on the team.
Well, that's actually funny. That's what they did with Furious 6. There were 6 people on the team. I remember me and Zach were counting like,
what about Fast 5?
No, there was definitely more than 5 people on the team. But
yeah. Also, how about how they brought the 2 Spanish guys back?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Just for that quick shot in this one.
Yeah, it was like quick.
That was pretty cool
with Don Omar and that other guy. Which is actually funny because they are like a music duo in real life.
Yeah, so they did that song from the end of Fast 5.
Yeah, which is great, which I still listen to this day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, I saw their name in the opening credits. I'm like, oh my god, they're in this movie. But yeah. So what about you, Zach? 1 out of 10. What would you give this movie?
Well, definitely not a 1 out of 10.
Not one from 10. What I meant, yeah.
So I gotta say, I really, really enjoyed this movie from beginning to end. As I said, it was just a shit ton of fun. I love the cast. These movies are really like guilty pleasure. Not really guilty pleasure. I do consider them really good, like fun movies. But yeah, I felt like I had a point to make, and I completely fucking forgot what it was. So yeah, anyway, I'll just go ahead with my rating. I'm gonna give Fate of the Furious an 8.7 out of 10. Ooh, I got it. I remember what it was now. So I just recently rewatched 5, 6, and 7 before the new one came out, just to have it refreshed. And I gotta say, like, in terms of story structure, I felt like this story was definitely the best and had the best storytelling of any movie of the franchise.
Really?
So it's really cool to see, like, 8 movies in, they're still finding ways to improve and just keep it going strong instead of just half-assing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, 8.7 out of 10 is my rating.
Okay, 8.7 out of 10. So with our ratings together and averaging it out, we come to an 8.2 out of 10. So yeah, that's our P&D Media score. I really enjoyed the movie. I can't wait for Fast 9. So yeah, even this movie's called Fate of the Furious. I'm still gonna call Fast 8. I really don't care. So
are they gonna call 9 Fine of the Furious?
All right, but David, I would like to thank you for being a part of this review, and hopefully, I don't know, maybe one of these days later we'll do another review with you on Real Talk. All right, so we'll see you next time.
All right.
Thanks for coming.